Orestria, a goth girl in Japan, and I'm here to solve your anime indecision. I'm reviewing the fall 2025 anime lineup. This is the anime season that finally broke me. This anime season is the opposite of the expression, a rising tide lifts all ships. A tsunami of mediocrity sinks everything. So much stuff was just fine that it made me not want to watch anything. Let's dive in and examine the wreckage. Kimetsu no Nate, Your Eternity Season 3. I feel like people would expect me to talk about this, so I'm gonna talk about it, but the truth is, after Season 2, I've decided not to continue watching this anime. It totally lost me. I do think I still recommend Season 1, but I don't know about the rest. Towa no Yugure, Dusk Beyond the End of the World. Our main character wakes up in a post-apocalypse. Society has more or less put itself back together through a fascistic world government forcing most people to live at a lesser level of technology. Our main character basically Futurama'd it, living in cryo-freeze until an earthquake broke his pod. He'd actually been something of a deity to the locals, and at risk to their own village, they took him in instead of immediately turning him over to the fascists. It doesn't help, the fascists show up anyway. We get saved by a Deus Ex android who kicks major ass. The first episode was just about perfect, until the last line of dialogue.
Akira, 私と結婚してください.
I hope you aren't anticipating Yugure slicing more guys to bits, because we have dating parties to go to. Dear author, if you want to make an incest polycule anime, I'm actually pretty okay with that. You don't need to make an interesting post-apocalypse sci-fi world to justify it, and then just ignore the setting. You can just make the polycule. I don't know what to say. When's the last time episode 1 felt like this could be anime of the season, and the whole anime was completely unwatchable by episode 3? It had cool scenes at the start, good animation, and it is neat to see an anime where poly relationships are normalized, but, ye gods. Mid? Maybe? Mostly because of the animation saving it. Yano-kun no Futsu no Hibi, Yano-kun's Ordinary Days. The class rep starts to take notice of the boys sitting beside her in class. Yano-kun. He's a hot mess. He shows up every day with a seriously concerning set of new injuries. Hey teacher, you want to inquire a bit more about the student showing up late with injuries because that screams bullying or abuse? You're reporting to the school child safeguarding lead, right? Right?
いや、私じゃなくても心配しちゃうでしょ、あれは。
Yes, especially a trained educator. My toxic trait is expecting anime teachers to do anything a teacher ought to do. It's not an actual problem in this anime. He is not being abused. He is not being bullied. Yano is horrifically clumsy to the point where you may as well consider it a curse. Because of that, he's always avoided spending time with other people so they won't be inconvenienced. As people come to know him, they have to convince him that he's not a burden, that they want to be with him, that he's worthy of friendship and even love. Literal I can fix him anime. Orestria likey. Let's play Questarake no My Life. Let's play. That's terrible search engine optimization for the English title. Good job. Our main girl is a socially awkward wannabe game developer. She's got an indie game which is getting some good reviews. She gets ready in the morning watching her favorite Let's Player, then heads to the cafe where I guess all of her friends work or live. At first, we get the suggestion that her manager is pretty sexist, excluding her from meetings and having her make coffee when the secretary is late. We also find out her dad is the CEO, so I don't understand why he'd be messing with her anyway. Honestly, there are just so many weird dynamics. The secretary at work harasses a delivery guy in a scene that is meant to be for laughs, and this all results in her boss giving her the shirt off his back, even though he has a bunch of spare shirts. And now CEO Dad thinks they're sleeping together. To make it worse, the Let's Player she likes streams her game, but instead of treating it like a puzzle game, he treats it like a straightforward RPG and shits all over it. Then he becomes her next-door neighbor. I wanted to like this. I like the character designs, it being an American source, but anime was unique, and it's a romance about adults, which I desperately want more of. But the main feeling I got watching it was discomfort. I'm going to call it mediocre. Akujiki Deijo to Kyoketsu Koshaku. Sono mama no watashi ga oishiku itadakimasu. Pass the monster meat, milady. The English title likes alliteration, I see. Not even close to what the Japanese says, which is something like the voracious villainous and the blood-mad duke. I'll enjoy eating it as it is. I'm not opposed to anglicizing titles, but I feel like the English title shouldn't be more awkward. When I type that, I feel like I've gone to the wrong side of the internet. One woman's quest to find a way to make monster meat edible for people, and thus solve hunger, has ostracized her from high society, until she meets the bloodstained Duke, a man ostracized for doing the horrible crime of protecting everyone from monsters. Romance ensues. The most find someone who matches your freak anime I've ever seen. These two idiot weirdos are made for each other. I support them. Admittedly, this occasionally gets dull, but overall I had a good time. Orestria likey. Mushoku no eiyu. Betsu ni skill nanka iranakatta n da ga. Classless hero. I didn't need skills anyway. In this generic fantasy world, everybody gets a class when they are 10, which gives them skills. You just learn a skill and can immediately do the thing. As the title makes obvious, our main dude does not get a job and thus cannot use skills. I might care more if it looked like he gave even a single shit. Everybody's pretty surprised since his dad is an archmage and his ara mom is a sword princess. What kind of class is sword I hate anime. The thing is, he's been training with his sword mom since he was a child. Through hard work and main character energy, he can even copy skills from actual swords people just from watching them. This just feels so lazy and inconsistent. A character said, children inherit their family's talents, and literally no they don't. You made a setting where that's not true, and then ignored your own world building. The main guy being so apathetic does not endear me to him or his story. He's always wanted to be a swordsman, so why couldn't he be disappointed when he didn't get that class, and then put in effort, and showed that this was important to him? Wouldn't that be more interesting? I hate losing, says blandly. Also lazy is the animation. Our guy says, timing and footing are key. We do not see him do it. We see the monster and an X shape appear on its chest, and then he says, as I thought, timing and footing were key. In what way, motherfucker? What timing? You just walked up behind the thing and hit it. What footing? You're on regular-ass ground and we didn't even see your feet. One final annoyance. Kill his big sister. Her personality is, I am in love with my brother. Let me wake you up with a morning kiss. Get the fuck out of here. This whole anime can get the fuck out of here. This is bad tier. Cat's Eye, 2025. There's an infamous group of thieves known as Cat's Eye, because they're the type of flashy thieves who leave calling cards. They often announce their thefts in advance, consistently plucking items right out from under the police. A hint for the police officers, if they're going to repeatedly gas you, maybe consider gas masks. The main detective on the case is this guy. He likes to spend his breaks at his girlfriend's cafe. A cafe named Cat's Eye. A totally normal name for a cafe that surely has nothing to do with the phantom thieves of the same name. You may have already picked up on it, but this is kinda goofy. I do think they've done a decent job updating the tech, so it feels right. Minus none of these places having security cameras ever. Ladies. At least Clark Kent wears glasses. This isn't really an anime to watch for the action or crime stuff. It's way more of a campy soap opera. How you feel about the 80s character designs is up to you, but it doesn't bother me. Apparently, the more mid-anime I'm watching, the more mid they all feel, which kills my motivation to watch. And that was the case here. So, mid. Yase no last boss ga arawareta. A wild last boss appeared. A hyper-advanced MMO got somewhat destroyed by this guy. He makes a character, a beautiful woman, because if he's going to spend hours grinding in a game, he knows what he wants to be looking at. As someone who made Fran my party leader in Final Fantasy XII, I support this message. Grind he does. He gets his character to the point where he conquers the game world, and then for game balance purposes, allows the admins to rewrite things so his character gets defeated. This being anime, he gets isekai'd into her body, as the game world is real, and now a couple hundred years later than the game he knew. The fact that he is a guy in a woman's body never comes up again in any meaningful way, to my massive disappointment. There's great imagery in this, it's well animated. I watched a few episodes, but ultimately this OP power fantasy seems resolved not to think in any depth about how the characters might feel. Maybe some fun could be had with the way she tends to no-sell fights, but It's good enough quality, I'll say good for thee, not for me. Tozai Sai Shuka no Isekai Ryoko Ki, A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. God, that was way too lispy for that title. I feel like it's been a while since I saw an isekai actually have the meet with God and get your gifts scene, and it wasn't there just to parody the trope, but here we are. At least the god is a cute twink for a change. The The god gives him a huge pile of OP abilities. The dude only asks for a cute companion. The monkey's paw curls. Our guy is OP as long as he can remember his high school English, because for some reason all the magic words are just English. Good luck with that if this gets a dub. Ro just wanders around collecting materials, becoming virtually instantly rich. I didn't mind, honestly. It was relaxingly mid. But at the apex of episode 1, we discover that Twink God's interpretation of cute partner was actually a baby dragon. This dragon is the most annoying fucking thing in the world, and the first 5 minutes of episode 2 is just, wow, isn't he cute? Scenes with this annoying piece of shit. This went from mid to unwatchable in my opinion. Maybe you'll find the dragon cute. I don't know. For me, I'm calling it bad. Ukiyo-na senpai. Awkward senpai. The PR department's ace gets away with being brusque because she's so good at her job. Truth is, she's not really such a harsh person. She's just terrible at communicating. A thing that famously isn't a problem in the public relations department. Boss puts her in charge of training the newbie, and she's freaking out. I wanted to like this because I want more romance with adults, please. This anime is being held back by both its art and its anime. She has big boobs, but nothing else on her is big, so she looks really off-model when they do anything other than a standard angle. And then there's the hair. Double toning hair with the inside being a different color than the outside has been a bit of a trend recently, but this anime is really going for it, and I hate it. Why does someone have olive green and orange hair? Then there's the animation. Check out this gag. This ended up funny by accident because they just gave up on animating it. Just like typing is animated by a still frame that doesn't show the hands, with typing sound effects over it. I saw manga fans complaining about this, and since the animation was obviously a huge limiting factor, I tried the manga. I kid you the fuck not, the first chapter of the manga is about 100 times more interesting, cute, sweet, and romantic than anything in this entire episode. The manga would be at the Orestria likey tier. This anime adaptation is just plain bad. Ranma half. The funny, I would say accidentally queer, classic. The anime that cracked 1,000 eggs. I really love this remake, although some aspects are definitely showing their age. The way I love this property, but nothing else Rumiko Takahashi has ever done should really be studied. Orestria likey. Watashi o tabetai, hito de nashi. This monster wants to eat me. Hinako is drowning in depression, living on only because she knows her family who died in a car accident would want her to, but wishing for the release of death every day. She meets a mermaid. Not the Ariel kind, the Japanese yokai kind. Yori wants to eat her, but not just yet. The irony of this anime is that Hinako wants to die, but before Shiori will eat her, she wants her to be tastier, which would require her to start enjoying life again, whereupon she would presumably stop wanting to die. I want this to be Lesbian the Summer Hikaru Died so badly. I feel like Hikaru delivers on the concept of dating an eldritch being, bringing pathos and horror. I don't feel like this delivers on what it promises. There's precious little horror here. I don't actually feel that much sexual or romantic tension between the characters. Doesn't it feel like this should be more lurid or more horror or something? I did find the anime more enjoyable than the manga, but there was an episode that felt really slow and then ended in a lame cliffhanger. Like they were drawing the whole episode out so the end could be the cliffhanger. And then the next episode, after finally sitting through the recap and the OP, the resolution to the lame cliffhanger was even lamer than I had assumed. I know it's ridiculous that I'll watch a bad isekai or bad villainous girls love, but can't stick with this, which is inarguably better than some of the slop I've watched. Ultimately, this anime is promising to do something, to be something, and then doesn't deliver. Getting me hyped for something, thinking you're gonna blow my mind, and then not doing it is one of the fastest ways to make me drop something. Good for thee, not for me. Tayo yori mo mabushii hoshi. A star brighter than the sun. There's a well-known Japanese saying, the nail that sticks out is hammered in. I wonder if that's why our main character, Sae, is something of a shy girl. Not easy being the tallest student in elementary school, especially as a girl, as I personally can attest to. She's much stronger than people expect, which is my life. And unlike me, she hasn't worried not to learn about her weight. Honey, of course you weigh more than your friends. You're 10 centimeters taller than them. She's harbored something of a crush on her childhood friend all this time, even as they grew up and drifted apart. That crush only grows as he develops into an athletic, popular guy in high school. We get to watch them start to reconnect. It's obvious to us that they both like each other, although our poor, sweet dummies are going to take a painfully long time to figure that out, assuming they ever do. This anime is pretty standard in many ways. In case I haven't made it obvious yet, I relate very hard to our tall main girl. Y'all can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm 5'11". I was tall before I moved to Japan. This is really excellent representation on that front. They dodged the annoying cliche of the pretty girl becoming like a love rival, which I was really happy about until we get this even weirder situation where Sae is treating his cousin as a love rival, which appears to be pure delusion on her part and just feels very odd. Ultimately, I'm pretty over it takes all season to confess, even though we have obviously had mutual feelings forever as a concept. Yano-kun dodges this entirely, and if you really do want a slow burn high school het romance, last season's Bloom with Dignity is superior to this. If it wasn't for the tall representation, this would be mid, but it's my fucking list, so Orestria likey. Hoshin wagami o tasukeru. Kaede wakes up in an alleyway, immediately feeling like not in Japan anymore. Good news? Everyone speaks Japanese. Bad news, she has no money and is somewhat perturbed by these lizard folk and beast folk walking around. She's 17, but everyone thinks she's a child. At the end of the day, she rummages through her backpack hoping for something to eat, and finds a book that she didn't put there. A magic book that allows her to take simple ingredients and transform them into potions. Selling these potions, she's able to start making a life for herself and learn about the world she's been transported to. This is a short-length anime, and like many of them recently, it has a simple moving manga style. I'm not a hater of this art style. I'll take it over 3D every time. The main thing this anime could have brought to the table is comfortable pleasantness, and I think that would have been helped significantly by a different animation style. I also haven't recovered from the potion recipe literally being just grass and water. I had an okay time watching it. It's just incredibly simple. It's mediocre. Saigo ni hitotsu dake onegai shite mo yoroshii deshou ka? May I ask for one final thing? We start with the Akuyaku de Josin. The classic Prince chose another girl over the main girl and breaks off the engagement in front of everyone, probably also framing her for a crime. What does our villainess do? Run away in tears? Vow revenge. Aim to clear her good name. Fucking punch them. I feel bad spoiling that, but it's the cold open of the first episode, so there's not much getting around it. The Crown Prince finds her amusing, so she doesn't really face any consequences. And he's a giant schemer, so he sees a lot of potential in a noble lady with supernatural fighting powers. Charlotte has an undying urge to punch assholes in the face, regardless of whether their actions were technically legal or not. Slavers? Evil. Fucking punch them. Nobles enabling the slave trade? Evil. Fucking punch them. Priests seeking to drive the world with the power their religion imbues in them? Evil. Fucking punch them. I spent a lot of the season flip-flopping. Is this going in recommend or Orestria likey? The decision got even harder when the animation got a lot rougher in the later half of the season. Then I realized I was falling into a trap. There's a tendency in media reviews to downgrade or silo girly things. Don't get it wrong, this is a girly anime, backdooring as comedy action. Look at these outfits. Charlotte is always in amazing bows and ruffles like any magical girl. We really get something special here. A woman allowed to be angry. A woman allowed to fight back, literally with her fists. A woman who, despite all of that, is still dainty, polite, and gorgeous. So yeah, I am going to recommend this. Besides, it's not like there's anything else to recommend this season. Sanda. This is the kind of anime where I might usually tell you to go in blind instead of giving my classic, as spoiler-free as I can, plot synopsis, but who the fuck am I kidding? You're enough of an otaku to be however deep into this video. You have at least heard of the Santa anime. We're in high school, but for good damn reason for once. This is a dystopian future Japan, where the most precious resource is children, because of the falling birth rates. They're so important for the survival of the country that they have artificially extended childhood. Children cannot be held accountable for even the most heinous of crimes. This has led to a society even more obsessed with youth than our current world, and some jaded children. What we need in this hellish world is some hope. What we need is for children to believe in Santa Claus again. Meet Sanda, of the true lineage of Santa. After being awakened to his powers, he transforms into jacked anime Santa to grant children's wishes. Science Saru, the Dandadan folk, have made the kind of fever dream anime that in my youth I assumed all anime was. Is it good? I have no idea how to answer that. It is an experience. It is distilled anime. It's going to take me like 3 years and 10 video essays to start to understand how I feel. Do me a favor and at least check out the first episode for the experience. Let's call it Orestria likey. Nohara Hiroshi, Hinumeshi no Ryugi, style of Hiroshi Nohara lunch. Ray and Shinchan's dad heads to lunch from work. There are some women there, and they mention a different guy being lame because he ordered spicy ramen and couldn't eat it, and proclaiming that a guy who can handle his spicy food while still looking cool is the best. Dad here, of course, orders the spiciest thing off the menu to show off. Comedy? This was mildly animated, and the comedy was sexism, and an already married man needing to show off his bravado. The subtitles were so badly done, I just turned them off. Am I worried I missed some nuance? No, I am not. This is bad. Tabake. Life is pretty bizarre when you're the heir to an extremely successful business, but your constitution is so weak that you can't really do anything. Treated like the lord of the house, but also like a prisoner. You go for a walk and 20 people ask if you're okay. Thankfully, this version of Edo Aro Japan is one where ayakashi are real. The business is run by a pair of overprotective spirits. He has these little critters to keep him company, and when he sneaks out and ends up on some sketch streets late at night, this cute spirit joins him and helps him escape from a murderer. We've got murder mystery elements, bribes, history, spiritualism. It's all very cool, but it's such a slow burn that my spark of interest went out. Good for thee, not for me. Shinji te ita nakama tachi ni dungeon okuchi de horosare kaketa ga gift mugen gacha de level 9999の仲間たちを手に入れて元party member と世界に復讐と騙します. My gift level 9999 unlimited gacha backstabbed in a backwater dungeon. I'm out for revenge. If you want a summary, read the title graph again. I will provide only complaints. This world has 9 races, but as far as I can tell, women only exist as humans, elves, and dark elves because women need to be hot. It's not an isekai, but of course everybody has gifts and levels, and the concept of a gacha exists. I had assumed bro was isekai'd into a gacha game, but no, I should have known it wasn't. Isekai isn't one of the 24 words in the title. The writing is incompetent. I guess they got their orders to kill him between these 2 scenes? Like, there's no transition. They're friendly to him, they're killing him. What happened? This girl complains that the injuries they're giving him will ruin their plan of claiming that he was killed by monsters, but she's the only one who gave him an obvious wound? Our main girl is his maid. She's level 9999 and will follow his every order. She talks to him like he's a god that she's in love with, and I could barf. Also, the gacha? It's not even random. It's skewed by ambient mana, so now that he's in the worst dungeon, he can abuse it with ultra rare pulls easily. This anime is way too stupid to be trying to deal with racism as a theme. It's too stupid to do an edgy revenge story. It also just looks cutesy, bright, and colorful. This anime does have one redeeming feature though. It has the worst naming sense. And I don't just mean the title. Main character? Name is Light. The OP maid? Mei. The wolf guy? Garo. Like Lucaru. Like werewolf. The demon folk guy? Diablo. The dragon folk guy? Drago! I literally paused the anime and laughed so hard I cried at the party naming scene. I've also gotten a lot of joy out of the title being so long you can't see the poster on AniChart. But yeah, this is bad. I know, shocker. Kao ni denai kashiwada-san to kao ni deru otaku. Inexpressive kashiwada and expressive ota. Ota is the kind of guy who has a huge reaction to even the smallest thing. When he sees a cute girl absolutely no selling getting pooed on by a crow, he becomes determined to get her to make an expression. His method? Stupid pranks and jump scares. The animation is barely there, and the pacing ends up slow and dull. I had sped it up before the OP started, and it never won me back. Let's be real, an anime based around the idea that kids bully the person they like is unlikely to appeal to me. Maybe the manga is more tolerable because reading is faster, so it wouldn't be so slow between the gags. It's bad. Mikata ga yowasugite hojo maho ni toshite ita kyote mahoshi suiho sareta saikyou o mezasu. The banished court magician aims to become the strongest. This bland boy gets noticed by court magician Eldis, who is so over-designed, it makes me even more annoyed at Alec. Why can't I live in the world where I'm complaining about every character being too much instead of too little? Eldis teaches Alec magic and warns him no matter what, don't become a court magician. Alec becomes a court magician. This is anime, so he gets kicked out of the party for only using amazing support magic, then effortlessly rejoins his previous party, whereupon we learn that actually he has good offensive magic too, and I struggle not to fall asleep. This isn't the fault of this specific anime, but can we get a new reason for being kicked out of the hero's party? Like, we gave Truck-kun a break and got other terrible isekai causes. I just want something new as I watch the same plot for the 30th time. This anime does have better animation and fight animation than most of these, so if for some reason this is your favorite trash trope, this is a decent offering. I'm out though. Mediocre. Shumatsu touring. Touring after the apocalypse. We join a pair of girls touring after the apocalypse. Amazing how you don't need a paragraph title even if you want to describe your plot. They use their solar-powered motorcycles to visit places their big sister has been before, turning this into a particularly unusual tourism anime. They sometimes do things that suggest there might be other humans around, but as long as I watched, we hadn't seen any other people. Maybe this is me being a buzzkill, but I really didn't care about the part of each episode where they sing folk songs to each other. It was cute once, but when I realized it was every episode, I started skipping it. For me, it's just trying too hard to be cutesy. The folk singing, an obsession with friendly and cute animals, the lack of danger and suspense. I don't get if they're on a quest or what. I don't get what they need. You know what? If they're gonna sing all the time, maybe we should just go full musical and they can do an I Want song. There were parts I really liked, parts that bored me, and parts I found trite. It all kind of averaged out to me as mid. Kojima Tanzaburo wa Kamen Rider ni naritai. Kojima Tanzaburo wants to be a Kamen Rider. Kojima has always been obsessed with Kamen Rider. He never grew out of it, as those around him did, and has trained all his life for the day he would be called upon to become Kamen Rider. Yes, that is him fighting a bear. He turns 40 and is about to finally give up on his dream when, on the news, there's a rash of robberies being committed by people dressed as shockers, the enemies of Kamen Rider. Has his day finally come? I laughed a couple times, but a lot of the comedy is cringe, which I personally despise. I'm also sure I'm missing a bunch of references because I'm not well versed in tokusatsu. The energy is good, there are a lot of stylized moments, and the fight was hype. But I don't trust this anime. This is the kind of anime where the fat guy gets hit in the stomach and spits up food, or where the girl in the high school flashback segment existed only as a damsel. Part of me felt like I should watch the next episode to see the woman, but then the next time on showing someone freaking out about her butt told me not to bother. Well made, doing what it needs to do, and I am the opposite of the target audience. This is a good for thee, not for me, if I've ever seen one. I don't even like takoyaki. Tomodachi no imoto ga ore ni dake uzai. My friend's little sister has it in for me. The main guy is getting teased, or more accurately sexually harassed, by his best friend's sister. I think there was a you need to have a fake girlfriend setup about to happen, but I dipped before I could finish that setup because I was exhausted by the constant yapping and bickering. I believe I paused the exact moment the main girl said, meow, while he was on the phone with someone else. Yes, thank you. Without that establishing shot, I wouldn't have known that she has thighs. And the follow-up, allowing me to know that she does, in fact, have breasts, was similarly enlightening. Non-diegetic ecchi, where the ecchi only exists because the camera is a pervert, is my least favorite kind. You want some anime titty? Do yourself a favor and watch My Dress Up Darling or Mahoako instead. This is bad. Digimon Beat Break. This Digimon installment is in a future world with highly advanced assistant devices that run your whole life and they charge off your life force. I hope they get into the creepy implications of that later, but I don't know, because this is Digimon. Could go either way, honestly. Because subtlety is dead, these devices are egg-shaped. Folks, there's a reason phones aren't egg-shaped. The beat in the title comes from our main character's hobby of being a drummer, and also from there being something special about the energy he gives out. His heartbeat. His pulse. To the point where his egg creates a Digimon. Wild Digimon attack and feed on people. You're generally not allowed to have a Digimon unless you're someone who hunts down said wild Digimon for bounties. It struck me right there that that's a lot more of a mature plot than I really expect of Digimon, and I say this as someone who watched OG Digimon as a kid. I didn't really feel that maturity when it came to the depth of the plot that was happening, and in particular the personality of the main Digimon, who I found dreadfully annoying. There's a distinct tension here between child-friendliness and maturity, and I couldn't get on board. I'm going to put it in mid. Civis, The Sound of Heroes. Biggest musical group in Japan is a mixed gender group who does these cool guerrilla lives where they appear with almost no warning and everyone watches them on screens, and on the videos the bands are having these cool monster fights while they sing, which are of course actually real. Our main character is the honorary little brother of the Civis group's leader and is hoping to become its newest member. One day he follows a mysterious girl, accidentally tumbling into the world of the battles. I am a Symphogear girly, so I was buckled the fuck in for episode 1. It was operating at 100% the whole time, with interesting character designs. I was pleasantly surprised that the dancing and fighting were 2D animated and not computer generated. Looking at you, dancing anime that will remain unnamed until your turn in the video. I thought it was a good choice to slow down a smidge in episode 2, get into the emotion of things. Until by episode 4, we hadn't really done anything else. Maybe you wouldn't need a 24-episode anime season if you didn't spend 3 of the first 4 episodes twiddling your thumbs. I will put it in good for thee, not for me, because if you enjoy band drama stuff, this might be good for you. I'm not interested in that in general, especially when I've been promised fun fighting. Hikaichikake no Mari, Mechanical Mary. Rich, smart, handsome, poised to take over the family business, this guy has it all. Including a brother who is dedicated to murdering him so that he can inherit the business instead. Luckily, we're talking like Scooby-Doo villain quality assassins. Even though there are multiple attempts on his life a day, he's fine. He's still going to high school. Can't have an anime without high school. For some reason, he has trust issues. He tasks the one advisor he maybe kinda trusts to build him a robot-made defender. Robots won't lie. Robots won't betray him. Who could build such a perfect, super advanced human-like robot? Absolutely no one! Mary is human. She just happens to also be an amazing martial artist famed for having no expression no matter what happens. Now she has to protect him, all while pretending to be a robot and falling in love with him. This is the second anime this season about an expressionless woman. It won't be the last. This is the kind of anime where the plot is gossamer thin, held together only by the deep stupidity of all the characters. And despite the desperate lack of actual animation to be found within, there is fun to be had here. But it's so dedicated to the status quo that it falls apart the more you watch it. Mediocre out of kindness for the fact that I did have some fun. Alma-chan wa kazoku ni naritai. Alma-chan wants to have a family. Two brilliant yet antisocial scientists, shunned by the scientific community, work in secret to create the perfect combat robot. Since this is anime, they make it a cute little girl. Alma's advanced AI determines that they are her parents, and thus they should live together as a family. Even though the scientists are definitely not rivals, and definitely not in love with each other. For the record, anime in this video are in the order I watched them in. So yes, I watched the 2 barely animated Robot Girl anime, one right after the other. And I'm giving victory in this battle to Mechanical Mary. This had too much of, like, the characters bickering in fast talk style comedy that doesn't work for me. It's fine though, and you might like that kind of comedy, so I will say mediocre. Kichi wa eiu, haha wa seire, musume no watashi wa tenseisha. Dad is a hero, mom is a spirit, I'm a reincarnator. Our main character is an OP hero. He was gravely injured in the course of saving the kingdom. As a spirit contractor, he had a relationship with Origen, the spirit queen. She brought him to the spirit realm, saved his life, and they fell in love. What's different here is that the OP hero is not the isekai person. It's their daughter. She's OP in her own way, being able to use her past history as a scientist, along with her fairy powers to manipulate elements. Not like fire and ice elements, periodic table elements. Diamond supply and demand balance is about to crash. About that reincarnator in the title, whoever translated this, I just want to talk. Reincarnated is the word you're looking for. A reincarnator sounds like someone doing the reincarnating. I like the idea that this entire family is powerful, beautiful, and lovingly loyal to each other. I like that their powers don't solve their problems because most of what we're facing is political. I like that the main guy is a wife guy. It feels fresh in a genre beset by harems. I hate that we're equating fat with ugly, evil, pig, clumsy. I hate that our main character was a grown-ass woman, has all her memories of being a grown-ass woman, but the anime wants to have it both ways. They want her to be smart, because she's a grown woman, but they want her to be cute and childish, doing like hide and seek. I'm sorry, it just irks me. It was fine. Sawaranai de Kotesashi-kun. Hands off, Kotesashi-kun. Why do all these shows start with the same speedrun of perversion? See a girl undressed by accident, accidentally grab the girl's tits, get hit. Even if what you want is ecchi, aren't you bored of this? I'm lying again. First scene was actually a They're obviously not having sex, but it sounds like they are. Fake out. That was an old trope in fanfiction 20 years ago. And the second scene was our main character sexually assaulting a woman. No, I don't care that by touching her lower back or butt he helped her. She did not consent to being touched. I would probably have more trite, awful scenes to talk about, but that's where I stopped watching. Just be porn. Egao no te nai shokuba desu. A mangaka's weirdly wonderful workplace. Is this title translation by the Monster Meat Milady person? A simple story of a manga creator who is a giant ball of anxiety, her ultra-competent assistant, and her editor. The editor is seemingly stylish and collected, but is actually also quite bad at communication. I've heard this described as the lesbian mangaka story. Maybe there's more of that going forward, but it certainly wasn't enough to get my Doki Doki going. How are there 2 girls loves anime this season, and I don't want to watch either of them? Do you find an assistant trying to convince her boss to act like a human being funny? You like a lot of screeching in your comedy? I was just never able to get into it, even with the hook behind the industry scene stuff and possible queer romance. Comedy is subjective, but this is also mildly animated, so mid. Debuto love to ayamachi to plus-sized misadventures in love. A woman awakens from a coma with amnesia. Dun dun dun! She's told she survived a suicide attempt and finds horrific messages scrawled to herself in her ideas notebook. She can't understand why such a gorgeous woman as herself would ever try to kill herself, or why her mom would say stuff like, "You've always hated mirrors." This is not just a work rom-com, but an attempted murder mystery, and is trying very hard to message that you should accept what's different about you as your charm point, what makes you special and unique. It's not the best representation of an overweight character, but for anime, it's pretty good. How many fat anime women have I seen that are thinner than me? Too many. That said, it's hard to find it funny, because these are the reactions you get to challenging ideas like fat people aren't worthy or attractive. A fat woman finds herself beautiful is the punchline. That said, her overwhelming confidence and brightness starts raising up those around her, which I think is a valuable thing to see. A note about her hair color, since I have seen some confusion. Anime and manga do different hair colors to help characters stand out from each other. The trick is they're more metaphorical, and they do track to personalities. The reserved young lady is gonna have black hair. Brash, energetic girl is going to be blonde. So in the literal world of the show, her hair color didn't change. Didn't dye it. Nobody comments on her hair color or calls her blonde. Her hair change for us, the audience, is a signifier of the change in her, and to differentiate her from any images we see of her depressed past self. You can see blonde her looking in the mirror at dark-haired her from the past and have that contrast. Anime hair colors aren't literal. My feelings towards this anime are complicated. The comedy doesn't work, and the drama gets the short end of the stick. It's flirting between mediocre and bad. I will go with mid because I do think they were trying to be uplifting. Ansatsusha de aru. Ore no status ga yusha yorimo akiraka ni tsuyoi no da ga. My status as an assassin obviously exceeds the hero's. Class of kids gets isekai'd. Class loner gets assassin skills, like being able to hide his aura, and thus dodges the admittedly sketchy kingdom's process of checking all their levels to find the hero. A fantasy priest saying at the level cap makes me even more upset than a fantasy world having levels, skills, and statuses. You've seen the title. His stats are better than the hero's. He is too smart to fall for the scheming of the kingdom that summoned them. I like that while there are rotted vibes, it's not treating us like idiots and having the king and the princess mean mugging. There's even a character where I was totally wrong on my read of them, which was exciting. Also exciting, these character designs. There's something a bit old-fashioned about them that I really like. Good animation, too. Really, this is much better than the majority of these isekai things we get. You're now wondering why I dropped it. Is it because it's so full of tropes? Nah, being tropey in itself isn't a problem. Use them to your advantage to get through your setup quickly, and you're good. The problem is, this anime quickly decides that it wants to be a grand romance as well. If it landed that concept, it could be an all-time great, but it falls painfully short. He ignores her like her interest in him is an annoyance. Constant scenes of this perfect woman pining for him and him ignoring her. And it gives this like loser energy rather than Arrow Ace vibes. Then she gets kidnapped and he snaps like he's madly in love with her and has to get her back desperately. If it either dropped the weird romance or succeeded with good romance, it would be a standout fun isekai. I will be charitable and put it in good for thee, not for me. Chitose-kun wa ramune bin no naka. Chitose is in the ramune bottle. I'm afraid I cannot tell you what this anime is about. There was about 2 minutes of blue-colored themed poetry, followed by 5 whole minutes of character introductions. Someone shows up, says something, the main character tells us their name, notable achievements, and personality. Telling me their personality, cause gosh gee whiz, that's not something I'd be able to determine on my own. I think that if I'm 7 minutes into your double-length first episode, and I have no idea at all what your plot is, or even your genre, you are wasting my time. I can't put it in the bad tier, I think, since maybe it would be good once it was done all the setup. It definitely has the animation chops, so I will bump it up to mediocre. But I just couldn't stand watching anymore. Tondomo skill de isekai horo meshi. Campfire cooking in another world. 2. Main guy is a regular dude, but he got a wonderful isekai blessing. Instant deliveries from Amazon. Rather than selling his foreign modern goods and becoming rich, his cooking skills attract incredibly powerful beings to become his contracted familiars, and lets him bribe gods for more incredibly powerful blessings. There's not really much more of a story than that. Head over here, do some shit, cook some food, get a new familiar, tum-de-tum. It is chill and very well animated, but no matter how well animated, this season they went into a dungeon and it was just incredibly boring. The fight scenes have no stakes. That said, I'm not a big fan of cooking shows in general, so I'm comfortable putting this in good for thee, not for me. Ninja to Gokudo. Ninja versus Gokudo. You don't need a paragraph to describe the plot in your title. We start with exposition. You see, the real cause of the Great Edo Fire was conflict between a ninja and a Gokudo, another word for Yakuza. That beef has continued to the present day. This businessman, who is definitely not a Gokudo, and this stone-faced boy, who is definitely not a ninja, meet and bond over their mutual love of Pretty Cure. Which would be cute, but now the first scene that isn't exposition for this anime has turned into exposition for a fictional anime in the anime. We've set up that the main conflict is going to be expressed through these new friends, set up their relationship, and have an admittedly fun over-the-top action scene. What will we do next? Oh my god, why are you explaining the plot again? It is extremely well established at this point, holy shit. And another scene about how the ninja can't smile. Ad nauseum. This isn't just a show don't tell problem, this is a trust problem. Does this anime think I'm the guy from Memento? This is trying to trick you into thinking it's good by having a flashy action scene, but it is bad. Swan dance. Our main character usually goes with the flow, doing whatever his cool friends do. He has a stutter, so it's easier to let them do the talking. Then he sees a girl dancing on her own, and it moves him enough that when they end up sitting beside each other in class, he strikes up a conversation. Wanda doesn't laugh at his stutter. It feels genuine and sweet. He's not the only one who saw Wanda dancing, though. One of his friends took a creeperific video of her trying to get upskirt shots and posts it to the friend chat. When he sees his friend post the video, he calls him out! Swan Dance has more emotional maturity than I have come to expect from high school romancy stuff. Our main character has learned from past embarrassments with dancing and from his stuttering that laughing at others is the lamest thing of all. However, they have chosen to animate the dance using CG. I'm sorry, it's not effective. Compare this to this. The dancing should be the emotional high, the catharsis of the episode, but the CG robs it of all the emotion. I've seen people saying, it's great except the dancing. Like there's no reason to stop watching. Would you watch a shonen battle anime where everything was great except for the fights? Everything's just fucking fine this season. Go in the mid-bucket with everyone else. Tensei Akujo no Kuro Rekushi, Dark History of the Reincarnated Villain. A woman gets truck-kunned into an isekai, into the body of the villainess of the story. The twist? She wrote the story herself, in middle school. And the main character is a Mary Sue self-insert that she even gave her own name. At least I changed the name for my middle school self-insert crap. This is a big problem because the villainess she's inhabiting dies in the prologue. She has to use her knowledge of the story to dodge death. As things progress, this becomes more and more difficult because she was a grown woman when she was truck-kunned. She doesn't remember all the details from her story. It's also embarrassing as the story constantly reveals the different phases of fandom and fetishes that she went through while writing it. This is bound to be underrated because it looks like garbage. She's barely animated, I'm not gonna lie. As someone who wrote similar terrible fiction in her youth, though, it it really hits. The framing device works as an excuse for terrible plot contrivances and one-dimensional characters, which makes it feel fun instead of tired. There's also this tension as she fails to notice the ways characters seem to be diverting from the story. The villainess in this anime has no powers, which is so refreshing. I get there are people who are not going to like this. It's not for everyone. But if you have an AO3 account or fanfiction.net account that you don't want people finding out about, this anime is for you. Orestria likey. I don't think it's come up in these videos. The main thing I watch aside from anime is social strategy reality TV. Survivor, Traitors, Big Brother, House of Villains, Sequester, Blood on the Clock Tower. So like, I fuck with this anime hard. Genosha. This anime is mafia in space, with a bunch of genderqueer characters. People can be infected by Genosha. Once you become Genosha, you have all your previous memories, but an undeniable desire to kill all humans. The ship's computer can detect their presence, but not who in specific it is. The residents therefore need to vote each other out one by one, till either all the Genosha presence is gone, or they all get murdered by the Genosha. The only way to try to figure it out is social deduction. My first thought was, this is gonna last 2 minutes, why is there such a small cast? Because I wasn't familiar with the source game. Let's do the time warp again. I was gonna complain about the men getting out there designs and the ladies getting sexy ones. Then they gave us a shoujo brain dolphin girl literally named Otome, so my argument is invalid this time. I'm not a 3-episode girly, as you've surely noticed. I think if an anime is gonna be great, it's not gonna start out bad. That's still true here. It starts at like a 6 out of 10. The first episodes are the worst though, as they spend a lot of time on the setup. Once you get through that though, ooh, it keeps getting better. It's continuing on into the next season, so y'all better not shit the bed. I recommend it. Kanto sunai kyuketsuki-chan. Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right. Anime. Introduce interesting vampire girl. Find out the main character is a guy who refers to himself as a background mob. In fact, this is a whole city full of supernatural beings. Ghosts, robots. The local guardian spirit says hello. Nevertheless, our main character is this dude. Despite unusual creatures being common, the transfer student vampire has an aura about her, such that everyone loves her and thinks she's cool. When No Mouth here ends up on cleaning duty with her, finds out her clumsy side. She's constantly famished because she can't drink blood properly. He offers her his blood. I hate the infantilization of her being cheapified when she drinks. This anime is so slow. We got the cold open scene repeated. And it's this, like, interesting girl, boring guy, bad trope, and it's done so poorly going into the bad tier. Kimi to koete koi ni naru. With you, our love will make it through. God, that title and that content. We're in modern day Japan, I assume. Realized I don't think I saw a single cell phone, and phones would have solved the cliffhanger. Due to some experimentations in the past, there are beast folk. They live in a walled-off city and are only allowed out with special permission. The government has just started a limited system allowing some of them to attend high school with humans. Our main girl, through a series of cliché shoujo meet-cute situations, befriends the first one at her school. It helps that she's a classic, too clumsy for life shoujo heroine. Shoujo manga has been comparing characters to dogs, cats, bunnies since forever, so this was inevitable. I support furries, but I am not one. I did Doki Doki when his tail would wag. I was enjoying it, but finding it incongruent having this adorable story set in like mega racism world. And then I guess the power of abs transcends species because it got really horny at the end. It made me uncomfortable, but I'm literally ace. I think the production was good enough that I'm going to put this in good for thee, not for me. Twisted Wonderland. I've always been interested in Twisted Wonderland. Disney villain Pretty Anime Boys is a concept meant for me. Plus the designs are by the creator of Black Butler, an anime I've been obsessed with for years. But I don't play gacha games, so all I've really done is enjoy advertisement posters as I walk by in the subway. Till now. Now we have an anime. Oh boy! We meet the anime original bland main dude, who we spend several minutes with, learning that he is reliable, good at kendo, and generally a good guy. He gets isekai'd to Disney Villain Academy, an all-boys magical school. I know that's not the name of the academy, but I don't feel like getting into the pretentious nomenclature of everything. We spend a lot of time on characters we don't know at all reacting to his arrival. Most of the reactions could be described as mild interest or no reaction, so high drama. 10 minutes in, I wrote in my notes that I would like the anime to start soon. A cat demon thing comes in and lights the place on fire. Mooks run away, and like 10 characters who are obviously the game characters are entirely unconcerned. We have conversations that are accidentally quite funny because it's a bunch of people standing around nonchalantly chatting as everything is on fire. I'm a Disney adult. I love villains. I love pretty boys. I love the Black Butler author's art. I came in wanting to like this. I walked out bored and not knowing anything more than I did going in. I think it's bad. I hope it's not bad for the fans who already know and love the characters. I hope y'all have a good time. But I'm out. Now it's time for the trans non-binary highlight. Lufas, the main character of Wild Last Boss, is a guy isekai'd into his video game character, happens to be a girl because he is a man of culture, who knows that if your avatar is a gorgeous woman, then you get to look at a gorgeous woman while you play. Unfortunately, this only mattered for like 30 seconds of screen time. We also find out that Ares is canonically an otokonoko, made that way by the main character. I have nothing to say about this. In better news, we have Ranma and Gnosia, both of which are very gender. In Ranma, our main character is actively, rapidly changing from boy to girl. He pays lip service to wanting to find solutions to his problem, but never manages to seem very upset by being a girl. He's been known to brag about how pretty he is. Most people in his life quickly get used to his changing. Everyone's quite blasé about it. The boys in his class have no problem expressing how cute they find him in girl mode, and his love interest Akane is unbothered either way because in the end, he's the same person. I love Ranma just sitting around with his tits out because he doesn't care. Gnosia is more modern, more passive with its gender fuckery. In this sci-fi future, it's commonplace to the point of not needing explaining that many people are non-binary or agender. Setsu is Han, which is described as having no gender. And Rakio is non-binary. There's an unfortunate scene where SQ is excited to discover Rakio's genitals, but other characters rightly think she's being weird and intrusive about it. Even our main character is non-binary, or at least gender ambiguous in this timeline. Let's review that recommended tier one last time. Crickets. Tumbleweed. This is the first time since I started watching seasonal anime that there wasn't a single anime where I knew which day of the week it aired. Not a single anime where I woke up like, fuck yeah, I get to watch the next episode of that today. I did have two anime who managed to crawl their way out of Orestria Likey as the season continued on, but I can't deny they didn't grip me the way the best anime tend to. This season was truly dire, folks. I do recommend Gnosia, and one final thing, I guess. That's it. Let us move on from this season to hopefully bigger and better things. If nothing else, Free Ren is back next season, so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. See you next time. Bye-bye. My mic can't pick up my nails and my clack. The main thing I watch aside from anime... No, I can't talk. I've always been interested in Disney. Just Disney. Oh no. Oh no, what happened to my camera?